Millions of years ago, at the beginning of time, a divine being gave birth to a universe of immeasurable splendor. This universe was a complex and infinite web, woven from interconnected dimensions, each with its own unique characteristics. Among these dimensions, 3 of them particularly stood out. The overworld, first and foremost, was a world of peace and harmony, where a multitude of creatures lived in balance with nature. It was a dimension bathed in light, where life flourished and the beauty of the land was a dazzling sight. The Nether, a hellish dimension, a realm shattered by chaos and destruction. Rivers of molten lava flowed across devastated landscapes. Evil creatures lurked in the shadows, and the sounds of tormented souls filled the air. It was a place of desolation, where war reigned supreme. The End, a mysterious land primarily known as the domain of the Endermen, slender creatures with luminous eyes. The End was an ethereal place, made up of floating islands in an eternally dark sky. It harbored secrets and unsuspected dangers, and only the bravest dare venture into its confines. These 3 dimensions, the overworld, the Nether, and the End, were the most influential and fascinating of this universe created by the divine being. They formed the very essence of this complex universe, each bringing its own contribution to the richness of this multi-dimensional ecosystem. Yet, the history of these dimensions contained dark chapters marked by conflicts and upheavals of unimaginable magnitude. For hundreds of years, our world was full of peace and serenity. The interconnected dimensions coexisted in harmony, each dimension bringing its own essence to the universe. However, as the divine being continued his creative work, he also sowed the seeds of error, among which the most sinister and important was Herobrine. The personification of chaos and destruction stood as the absolute opposite of what would later be called Notch, the benevolent creator. Herobrine found joy in the terror of the inhabitants, feeding on their fears to increase his demonic power. The citizens of the overworld, in their carefree way, were plunged into incessant nightmares as their world was subjected to his menacing shadow. The conflict between Herobrine and Notch was inevitable, a confrontation between creation and destruction. This titanic war unfolded over a dizzying timescale, years of fierce battles and demonic schemes. However, despite the immense powers they possessed, neither could decisively prevail over the other, and the war descended into a desperate stalemate. Then, a mysterious event, the details of which remain obscure to this day, allowed Notch to achieve victory. He managed to banish Herobrine to the Nether. Herobrine was condemned to an existence of eternal torment, but his hatred and thirst for vengeance survived his banishment. This monumental confrontation forever marked the history of the universe and the struggle between the forces of creation and destruction. The consequence of this war was terrible for the dimensions, which ceased to coexist. Millions of years have passed since Herobrine's imprisonment in the Nether. In the hellish darkness of this chaotic dimension, Herobrine hatched a meticulous plan to escape his fate. Through a series of miraculous events, he finally managed to escape from the clutches of the Nether, freed from his prison. The time spent in captivity had transformed Herobrine. He was now consumed with rage and hatred, consumed by the burning desire to take revenge on Notch and all those who had dared to stand against him. His new quest was clear: to conquer the entire overworld, the world he had sought so hard to corrupt in the past. He was ready to unleash his devastating power on every corner of this peaceful dimension, to sow destruction and chaos wherever he went. This is where I intervene. Over the course of my life, I have been forged by hundreds of battles, shaping me into a formidable fighter. Reckless and determined, I vow to confront Herobrine, stop his quest for vengeance, and ensure that this evil monster disappears forever. My name is Psycho Girl, and this is my fight.